offensive staff to evaluate a game like that? You only run 44 plays. It felt like it was half of what you guys would typically run.
Sure. I mean, at the end of the day, it's always comes down to the same thing: like how hard do you play, how well do we execute. My thing is, like Coach Bell always preaches too, like how efficient are we? It don't matter if you play 20 plays or you play 75 plays. Like, are you out there executing at an efficient level and playing as hard as you can? So that's kind of all we were looking for, obviously, in that game, and taking advantage of the opportunities that you're given. Because at the end of the day, you can't control what happens in the game. And obviously, you can't control the defense has 3 pick sixes and 2 other picks. But man, when we got out of the field, I thought our guys went out there and executed really hard, and it was fun to watch.
What makes it seems like Ben Saul's just can't stop any field goals. It's like you just see his stuff so far.
Well, say that last part again. Sorry.
What's it like to continue to see him just? It seems like every time he steps up to the, when he goes in the field, he's automatic. What's it like seeing that?
Yeah, it's fun. And at the end of the day, man, as a coach, like you're so happy for him. Like you love coaching all the guys. I love Ben. Like I really, it's been so fun getting to be around him for 9 months, and I'm so proud for him because he's doing that, right? Like because that's what he and I talked about from the moment I took this job, about how good he can be, and he knows that. And like now you're seeing that true belief in him going out there. And at the end of the day, you just got to approach it as it's one kick at a time. And when you approach it with that mindset, like shoot it. Next thing you know, the entirety of the season, it looks really good. And so that's what he's doing right now. He's living in the moment. He's dominating. And, we just keep sending him out there. Maybe we can send him out there and get a little bit closer. But, hey, at the end of the day, it's good to watch.
What are some of the factors that have led the numbers be a little bit down offensively last 2 games?
I think we played some really good defenses. Number one, I know, like, obviously Cal they do a great job. They got a lot of experience. And so just what they do, they play really hard. And I think in this era of college football, with the iPads and all that kind of stuff, there's a lot of adjustments that defenses can make. We just got to continue to combat that and keep doing what we're doing at a high level and just practicing the right way and taking care of those little details. But it just comes down to execution, and just simple things and doing those simple things at a high level. That's what we got to get back to doing, and we will. We had a great practice today.
Yesterday, Pat had mentioned if there was a vote for most improved that Caleb Junko could get it this year. What have you just seen throughout the season from Junko?
Yeah, again, it's kind of like we said about Ben. Like I've seen what he did in the springtime and in the summertime when nobody was watching. And as a specialist, that's the life you live, right? Like nobody's watching you go out there on Saturday morning in July on your own and kicking a rack of balls and doing your normal stuff. And people don't see that. So for him, like he's finally seeing the results, but he knew that going into it because that's who he was all spring and all summertime. And so again, really proud of him too, because it was a guy that was the whole thing on him when I got here was, man, he's up and down. He's really talented, but man, those lows are here, and his lows are starting to get a lot higher. He's obviously put together a good streak here in ACC play when it matters the most, which is awesome for him. That shows the true confidence in himself and his belief, and that's what you want to see as a coach.
When we talked to him, I think last week, he said confidence was a big thing for him. What did you kind of say to him when you arrived to get him, I guess, to be more confident?
My thing is like just focused on him as a person. Like, they're athletes, but man, they're people too. And I could tell like he was kind of a beaten dog a little bit. He's hard on himself because again, as a specialist, like you're in your own world by yourself, and you're your biggest critic. And so we got to get you to change how you think mentally on everything, right? Like it's got to start with you. Right? Like, I can tell you all I want as a coach, like, hey, you're really good because he is really talented. But again, like until you go out there and you put that together consistently, it's going to be really hard to develop that belief in yourself. And that's what he's done. Like he's just attacked every single day, lived day by day, moment by moment. And now like that we're all seeing what he's really capable of. And he's still got a long ways to go in a good way. That he's still at his floor, I think.
Bronowski said the other day that Gavin ran a nice route on that second touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
What exactly was Gavin's role in that score?
He's a man beater there. His role is to grab the safety, but also he's a man beater, which that was the coverage. And Gavin did a great job all night running routes. He was crisp. I thought it was the most explosive he was coming off the ball, getting to his depth, being physical at the top of routes. And like I preached to Gavin, like man, like you just keep doing that, the ball's gonna find you. And sure enough, on the next drive, he has the big conversion there and like an 18-yard catch on a dig route. So I think it's just continuing to practice the right way, getting the quarterback's vision, getting those windows, because it's camaraderie too with your quarterback, and it takes time. And so it was really exciting to see. And the number one thing I love too about that route is Gavin was the first guy to be in the end zone celebrating with Pop. And that's what I love about Gavin. Like he's such a team player. It don't matter. Like, he just wants to win, and that's fun to see as a coach. And you see him flying around, going to chest bump Pop. I think Pop is dancing, so I don't think Gavin jumped in on that one, but.
I apologize. You called him a man beater?
Yeah, it was a man beating route. You know, so man-to-man coverage. You know,
Oh, okay.
You'll be physical and win. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Got it now. Thank you.
There's no crowbars there.
Has there been any point in this season where you've thought maybe, oh, I got to check in on Gavin, I got to make sure that he's staying engaged, or does he kind of take care of all that stuff?
No, I think as a coach, you always have to. You know, I mean, we preach relationships. Well, you better have that. You know, and it's one thing to talk about, but you better have that all the time. And so, you know, whether it's just phone calls on the way home at night, you know, sometimes I try not to go home because it's a little bit too late, but, you know, phone calls, just checking in, you know, and just being authentic, you know, like at the end of the day, like a spade's a spade, you know, and no, you know, nobody's happy when the results don't go the way that you may want them to, right? And so you got to approach it that way and just be open with it, like, and just keep practicing the right way. And so for Gavin, it's never been an issue. Like, we just have great communication. He's been that way since I've gotten here. He's been open to me, which, you know, I appreciate. He's been here for a long time. He doesn't have to listen to me or take my advice and stuff, but he has, and it's been fun.
Where did the idea come from for the crowbars? Why did you purchase the crowbar?
We were talking about prying open the defense, and then like my mind just immediately went to crowbars. So then I immediately texted my wife. I was like, hey, go to Harbor Freight, buy as many crowbars as they have. So she did. She's awesome. So she went and bought all of them, and they were neat because they had said Pittsburgh on them too. It's a Pittsburgh brand. You know, shout out maybe an NIL deal for somebody. But yeah, it was just one of those things. And again, as a coach, like you're trying to give guys visions and you know, ultimately give them you know, exciting learning environments. So it was just kind of a visual for them, like this is what we're gonna do, you know, and it had nothing to do with Syracuse or anything like that. Like it was just us doing our job, you know. That's what we are. We're a lever, you know. We gotta be the more physical lever on every single play.
How many did she buy, and did she haul them all home?
She did well. So it was her and my two boys helping her. So it looked kind of funny with two a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old carrying a crowbar and her carrying 3. But you know, I mean, she's used to that stuff. She's married to me, so.
I mean, do you still anticipate seeing Desmond as a starter on return? Do you think maybe going to come out table service with time at that spot, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, I love where Dez is at. He's doing a good job, and he wants to do it, you know, and that's what I love to see. You want your playmakers to want to have the ball in their hand, and so he's taking a big role in that. And he's continuing to grow every single week too, because that's not something he did a lot of, you know. So he's getting better and better every single week, and so I'm excited about this last stretch. You know, it's a big stretch, obviously, and excited to have our playmaker back there with the ball in his hands.